Hi, my name is Marvin. I'm a person in long-term recovery. That means that I've been sober since the year of 2021, August 11th. Had a, I'm 20, 30 years old now. I've had quite a life so far. It started off pretty much right when I was born. My mom, she had a substance use disorder and kind of affected me a little bit when I was born into this world. And obviously, I was just a little baby, so I didn't know anything about it. But my father, he didn't have any of that going on, so I kind of lived with him for a little while. And that was my early years, my young years. I ended up getting adopted and moved quite some ways away from Philadelphia. That's where I was at in the beginning. And then I started growing up actually as a kid, like what kids usually do, and not getting in trouble. And I was a normal kid. I went to school ever since kindergarten all the way on up, and I had good grades and everything. Um, I made it all the way through 12th grade. I was big into sports and just a normal kid. Went home, did my homework, did all that. I didn't do partying, no, none of that. And then I graduated, went off to college for a little bit, and that's when I first got introduced to substance. And I kind of dabbled a little bit. It wasn't nothing serious. It was recreational, I would say. And I was 19 then when I had my first drink. I waited a little longer than I guess most people would, but I was focused on college. And then, on the weekends there, what college kids do, I guess. I would go out with friends, and that's when I would get into drinking a little bit more. That didn't really affect me that much. I did my first year of college, and I got good grades on that year, and then went through my little break, and then I was didn't touch anything. Then went back to college, and then I really started smoking a lot of the marijuana, and then I ended up getting involved in drinking a little bit more, but it still was not a problem. I ended up dropping out of college to go start my workforce in my life. And I got a good job in the oil and gas field starting off. I think I was like 19. And I did that for a little while. And that's when I got introduced to, the pills and stuff like that, more substance. And I did some of that here and there. It was never a problem, I didn't think. And then I did that for a couple of years. Then I had a twin brother in 2012. He ended up dying in a car crash. We were only both 21 for not even a month. So I didn't even get to go and have, a legal sit down drink with him and whatnot. So after then, as my life kind of changed a little bit. And I dealt with it for a little bit, and then the emotions started taking over. And then I started becoming lazy and getting off of my schedule. And the only way I knew how to deal with that was my friends. They were trying to help me out and make me feel better because they were friends with him too. Why don't you come on out and we'll hang out and stuff? So I ended up hanging out, and boom, started drinking. At this time, I was just freshly 21. So I would drink on and off. I mean, more days than not, I'd say, but it still wasn't a problem. I'd do it at night after work, hang out a little bit, go home. And fast forward a couple of years, now I'm probably around 24, 25, still working, still bouncing around different jobs. Then I started working on the road and living in hotels, living in apartments. So then the substances were running in and out. And that's when I kind of got in a little deep there. I ended up using heroin for a while and over a year, and everything was good. I didn't run into any legal matters, no, nothing like that. I thought I was good because I was escaping everything. That's why a lot of people do it, to escape the feelings so they don't have to feel hurt or sad or any of that. And it just kind of made me feel on top of the world. I didn't have to worry about anything really. I would like to say I was a functioning person that used then. I mean, I thought that a lot of people, I was very good at hiding it. Not a lot of people knew. I mean, there were certain friends that I did it around, but I trusted them. And one day, two of my brother's good friends, they ended up showing up at my parents' house. And while I was at work, and they ended up telling them that I was using, and I have been for a while. came home from work that night and didn't even make it in the house. My parents were like, we have to have a talk. And right then I knew that, well, they found out I was getting high. And that was, I had two options then. Either you get out of my house or you go get help. So I was scared about, I've heard a bunch of stories about going to an institution, like a facility for medical help, a rehab, whatnot. That was my first choice that I said, fine, I'll go get help. And that was the first time. I didn't think that I needed it, but I knew my parents wanted me to do it. So it was more or less for them and not me. I ended up staying at one. It was a decent facility. I stayed for about 3 weeks. I learned a lot. I did learn a lot there. I was forced to do groups and everything after about a week of detoxing. And that was my first little run of being sober. 3 weeks and then I got home after that. And I went, I'd say a couple of months. I went, and then I had a drink. And I was like, that's not a relapse. I didn't use the heroin. Like, that's why I went to rehab for. None of that. But after that, I kind of started over, and I did end up doing an intensive therapy that was outpatient at a program, and I did that for a couple of months. I did not finish it, but I did learn a lot there, and I had enough drive to stay sober for a while. I stayed sober for, I want to say, a good couple of years, definitely from the opiates and all that. But the drinking was, it would come in here and there. I would have thoughts about it, and I'd be like, no, I'm trying to stay sober now. But I ended up messing up again. Life started getting really messy again. I started not caring. I started not taking care of myself. And at this point, I was drinking every day. I was drinking all day long. That went on for a while. I still was functioning. I went to work every day. I offered to do overtime. I was still, doing normal things that everyday people do, but it was just I had to hide a lot of things that other people did not. And it came down to it. Became too much. I was drinking and driving a lot. I never got pulled over. I never got caught. None of that, which is good. But one day at work, and this was early 2021 last year, my boss, who I've been running around with for 2 years, he notices everything about me, and he kind of looked at me and he saw one day I was withdrawing really hard from not having any alcohol at work in 100-degree heat right outside. And he pulled me aside and said, we need to have a talk. And we had a 2-hour drive home. I rode with him, and he pretty much said, either you need to take some time off and you need to get some help, or or I'm going to have to fire you because I can't watch you die out here. So I ran in with that, and I did. I went back to another institution, and I stayed for only like a week and a half this time, but I did get medical help. I detoxed, and that's the beginning of my recovery. I came out of there. I came home. Everything was changed. I did not have any alcohol in the house. I had no substances in the house, no nothing. I immediately changed all my friends that I knew that either would have it whenever I would see them. I created boundaries. I would just talk to them through text or social media. And if I did run into them in person, I usually had my girlfriend with me, and nothing ever got weird, but it was, they try to persuade you back into lifestyle that you used to do with your friends. And sometimes you can be scared, you can be nervous to admit that you're being sober and you're in recovery now and you don't want any part to do with that life anymore. But I pretty much did not have a problem with that. And so I changed my friends. I changed a lot of places that I went to. I did not even go anywhere for probably a while. I mean, I would take drives by myself, and being sober, and really try to relearn a lot of things that I missed over the last like 8 years that I was, had an alcohol use disorder problem. And I was granted a second chance to, actually this would be a third chance, to live for a better me. And make sure my health is top notch, not only for me, but for a person I live with and my family, and to set a good example. Because I have another sister, she was also adopted with me, and she saw everything I went through, but now she gets to see the recovery side of me, what I'm doing. Um, I just finished another intensive outpatient program. I actually finished it this time. Uh, I do go to meetings every week. I do mental health counseling every week. I will meet with, so I have my own CRS that I'll meet with every week. It's just things like that that keeps me going strong and keeps my head on straight. Now I'm very more responsible and I keep myself accountable way more often. I don't have to lie about anything. I don't have to lie if I have anything in the house, or I don't have to worry about driving and I see police around. I don't have to worry about any of that because I'm completely sober now and have been for just over 6 months. And I created a balance in my life that I want to keep. That way I don't have to even, have those thoughts of, well, this might get a little bit out of control, because once you do that, it's very hard to step back up. You don't want to move backwards. I mean, you'll have relapses here and there, but that's part of the process of getting better and trying to beat addiction. And recovery it's been the greatest thing. The best thing I can say about it for me so far in the last 6 months is I feel the best that I've ever felt. And I don't have to try to fuel myself with another substance to make sure I can operate properly. I don't worry about my health that much. As when I was using, people trust me a lot more. My relationships have gotten better. They can depend on me a lot more because they know I'll be there nowadays. Um, I'll be going back out into the workforce soon. I took a whole 6 months off to kind of restart my entire life with recovery and just, try to just have a plan there and stick with it. And as long as I can keep doing my part of recovery and balancing that out with, the work thing that comes along in my everyday life, I think I'll be good and keep right on track, keep my head up, and everybody can do it. I never thought that I'd be able to stop. Um, and if I did, I thought it would only be like a week or maybe a couple of days. But if you really try hard enough, you can do it, and it's rewarding. I mean, you feel great. Just people being around you, you feel like a lot of weight's been lifted off your shoulders, and that's the main thing that I like about recovery. And it's just a better way of living, and you're very more productive. It can do a lot more. So there is hope for everybody. And if you need help, don't be afraid. There's agencies, you have institutions, you have counselors. You just can't be afraid to ask for help. I was once too proud to ask for help until I pretty much got told I was being too proud, and I kind of got knocked down a little bit. I asked for help. I got the help. Here I am 6 months later, haven't touched anything. And I plan on doing that for the rest of my life, as long as I play my part and continue doing the things that I have been doing and implement everything that I've learned over the past 6 months. So, once again, my name's Marvin. I'm a person in long term recovery. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it. Thank you.